Since the beginning of time, legend has told of an epic battle between darkness and light. But now the darkness spreads, and an unknown warrior will rise. With a deadly new ally. To save a kingdom and restore the light.
The new Prince of Persia, the first thing you notice is the totally new style. Why did you choose to change the graphics that way?
It was a decision that was taken by the design team very early in the concept. It's something that went hand in hand with the vision for the game, which was one that is very mythological. It's a very fantastical story about like light versus dark. There's an evil god in it. And as part of that, they wanted a visual style that felt like you were in a storybook. So the illustrative style is one that really connected with that. So now that we have that, it feels like the player is running around inside a painting, and it just really connects with that storybook feel of the game.
And do you think it's a bit less dark game than the previous Prince of Persia? Because with Warrior Within and third game, it became kind of like a dark theme. And are you now returning to the kind of Sands of Time style?
Well, in the Sands of Time trilogy, I mean, the story followed a certain arc, and certainly the middle game, the Warrior Within, it had a darker theme, because typically in Act 2 of any story, that's when things get worse, and so they got worse for our character, the Prince, in that game. And so it was quite dark, and Two Thrones, I think, brought it up somewhere in between. With this game here, light versus dark is a central theme to the game, and in fact, when you start the game, the world is all dark. And by your actions, you are making it natural and bright again. So it's one of those things that people that like Prince of Persia, it's very important to them that this idea of a bright world, a bright game versus a dark game. And in this one, we're addressing it directly, and the player's actions are what actually make it bright. So I think that's something that people will find satisfying. Elika, the companion to the prince, she has the magic power. She's the one that is actually able to drive what we call it the corruption. That's that grim black substance that's all over the world. She's able to drive that corruption away by getting to these sacred spots around the world. We call them healing grounds. And she channels her magic into the healing ground. It drives the corruption away, and then she's the one who makes the world brighter, yes.
Because how did she fit in the storyline? How did she meet the prince? How did that all start out?
Essentially, she is the story. This is her story. She's the one who feels duty-bound to save the world, and the prince has come along to help her, to protect her, guide her, and to take her through this, to get her to these healing grounds so she can heal the entire world. The prince and Elika meet at the beginning of the game, and they basically get caught up in this adventure together and help each other as companions throughout the whole story. Elika, she'll help in almost every aspect of gameplay. Like you said, they travel together through the whole time, and so she has abilities that'll help you during acrobatics. She can help you do like a double jump, for instance. She has abilities that help you in combat. She can attack, and at any time, if the prince is put in a fatal situation where they fall from a great height or touch the corruption, that black substance in the world, or fall in combat, she will always rescue them with her magic power and basically get them back to their feet, and the game will continue. So we never see a game over screen in the game because of this one power of Elika's. The combat system has been completely redesigned. It's now, like in the previous Prince of Persias, we would encounter, like you said, multiple enemies at once. Now we have what we call a duel system, where you take you fight the enemies like one at a time. And with this new system, we were able to create enemies that were more capable, more aggressive, and it made the combat very intense. And plus, since we're only facing one enemy, we only have one enemy to keep on camera, we're able to present the fight very cinematically, so it makes the fights dramatic as well. And so this was something that was important to us because relationship is very important in the game, and this allowed us to create a meaningful adversarial relationship with the enemies because we see them for a long period of time.
Okay, well, acrobatics is of course a huge part in the game. It has always been in the Prince of Persia franchise. Did you change anything on that part?
Yes, there still are acrobatics because, like you said, they're a very important part of the Prince of Persia franchise. But almost every aspect of it has changed at least a little bit. Like we still have a wall run, which is like very important for Prince of Persia, but performing the wall run is a little bit different, for instance. But we also have added a host of new moves, including one we call the grip fall. The prince has a glove on his left hand that allows him to glide down vertical surfaces.
What do you think is really the coolest new feature you've put in it?
See, for me, it's one of those things that it's hard to say. It's sort of the whole unified experience. I think for the players, I think they will like how the combat, the acrobatics, and the story all go to put the character, like to put the player in this world. Like they'll really feel immersed in what's going on. And I think that is really the main achievement of the game, is how all the aspects work together to give the player a very thorough experience of going through this adventure.